วัสดีค่ะ and welcome back to At Brian Site here on GBN Station. You're now with me, Gonkanok Shitpan. Let's take a look at these week events in the Buddhist world. On 6 August, มหาจุฬาลงกรณราชวิทยาลัย University hosted the Interfaith Conference uniting people from diverse faiths at Ayutthaya Province, Thailand. The goal is to bring together people in every community that has diverse faiths, Buddhists, Christians, and Muslims. Religion shouldn't be the tool to divide people, but should be used to bring unity, said Professor Dr. Kamunlat Puwachanatipong from Mahajula Longkorn University when she shared her new findings on religious study. She also said the San Paulo district has been an ideal community of respect for plurality and diversity. For a century, the people there have been living together in harmony despite their diverse faiths and religions. The conference also discussed how to encourage interfaith relations within each community in Thailand, which include combating religious prejudice, promoting mutual understanding, and fostering social cohesion. Alfoxen Park Hotel in Holford, Somerset, was home to the writer William Wordsworth and his sister Dorothy for a year in 1797. The country house, which appears on Historic England's at Rake's Register, is where Wordsworth and Samuel Taylor Coleridge created their joint masterpiece, Lyrical Ballads. It will be renovated and reopened as a base for Buddhist meditation retreats. In 2010, West Somerset Council issued an enforcement notice ordering a property developer to stop housing Polish workers in the run-down property. According to Adam Nicholson's book, The Making of Poetry, Coleridge, the Wordsworths, and Their Year of Marbles, the original house, the Manor of Alfoxen, was destroyed in a fire but was rebuilt in 1710. It is hoped the main building will be reopened for retreats from August 2021. The Great Stupa of Universal Compassion has won TripAdvisor's Traveler's Choice 2020 award. It comes as the largest stupa in the Western world goes back into coronavirus lockdown for the second time this year. TripAdvisor gives a Traveler's Choice Award to accommodations, attractions, and restaurants that consistently earn great reviews from tourists and are ranked within the top 10% of properties on its website. Stupa are the most sacred buildings in Buddhism, and the one near Bendigo is based on one in Tibet called the Gansi Stupa. Workers began building the Great Stupa in 2003 and finished exterior construction earlier this year, where they installed a 4-meter-tall funnel at its highest point. It attracts tens of thousands of visitors each year. The Dalai Lama also visited this place in 2007. It has also become the site of popular community celebrations, including Illuminate, a festival that includes multicultural performances and an animated light show on the walls of the stupa itself. Buddhist monks are mobilizing to provide the basic necessities for lay communities due to the economic difficulties caused by the coronavirus. It is estimated that over 8 million people, about 12% of the Thai population, might lose their sources of livelihood as a result of the pandemic. To alleviate their plight, many temples in Thailand are working with their communities to feed those in need. In June and July 2020, monks throughout the country are receiving and distributing food to their communities. Monks generally post an announcement on Facebook for community members to donate what they can. Wat San Sai Ton Kok in Chiang Mai Province, for example, set up an offering table in a temple where about 200 people donated each day in May. With the money and food collected, monks and temple supporters make meals to help feed the community. At Wat Tha Luang in Pichit Province, northern part of Thailand, the abbot has made efforts to feed one meal per day per person during the quarantine period. Media reports show thousands of villagers, including children, elderly and disabled, line up to receive boxed lunches. A long, socially distanced line also stretched outside Wat Song Kalayani, the temple where Dhammananda Bhikkhuni, the first female monks of Thailand, resides. People were handed instant noodle packages, bags of rice, snacks, and vegetables. A total of 28 ministries and 40 state ministries were set to be appointed. The subject ministers and state ministers were scheduled to sworn in at the Temple of Sacred Truth Relic in Kandy on Wednesday, 12 August. Prime Minister Rajapaksa visited the temple last week, also spoke of the tooth relic as a symbol of status denoting the right to ascend the throne. I believe grew that whoever possessed the sacred truth relic had a divine right to rule that lands, he added. Each of Sri Lanka's leaders has repeatedly had to pay homage at the temple as they assume office. The temple of this country expects from us a country that deserves a blessing from the sacred truth relic, he added. Rajapaksa also revealed that he meets with the island's powerful Buddhist clergy every month, where they offer invaluable advice to guide Sri Lanka. I have committed myself to follow these instructions in order to develop this country and preserve its unique heritage, he added. It is one of my duties of my government to continue the generations-long tradition to facilitate the role of the bhikkhus. Therefore, I am prepared to carry out duties that have been assigned by the Sacred Truth Relic, along with the other duties that have been entrusted with the government. The world is full of changes and uncertainties, and it's not easy for us all to cope with, especially during this coronavirus pandemic. And today, Venerable John will be teaching us 5 ways to deal with uncertainties in 2020. Let's get started.
5 ways to deal with uncertainty in 2020. Uncertainty is a part of the world. We live with impermanence when things, people, and situations are subjected to change all the time. But why is it so hard for many to cope with many uncertainties at the moment? What do we need to do in order to deal with uncertainty from the new normal in 2020? Number 1, reduce the amount of news you consume. News or articles, whatever they are, deliver a message to our mind. Of course, incoming messages do not bring only information, but opinions, feelings, or emotions are also attached as well. The feeling after we finish listening to the same messages 100 times is not going to be the same because the mind has absorbed fear, anxiety, or negativity from the message. Therefore, it's important to be aware of the situation by receiving some news, but do not spend the whole day watching the same news again and again. That's gonna reduce willpower and mental strength to deal with the uncertainty that is currently happening. Number 2, try to look at the situations from 2 perspectives. As every coin has 2 sides, every situation has 2 perspectives as well, positivity and negativity. The current situation is freezing everything around the world, stopping us from traveling, working together, or spending our time the way we want. But is something good also happening at the same time? There's a report saying that factories that are currently pausing the operation stop emitting CO2 to the atmosphere. Perhaps the climate is also going to be improved when the hard time is over. What about the food and necessity supply? This hard time will teach us a lessons about what we need and what we want. We perhaps realize that we don't need that much to survive. So when the situation is over, we can look forward to appreciating every remaining breath on earth. Number 3, understand that changes are inevitable. It's hard for people to cope with the uncertainty because people don't like to change. Each change requires mental preparations before thinking, speaking, and doing are gradually adjusted. When changes happen once in a while, it might seem okay for people to adapt. But when changes are happening daily, it's gonna be much harder to prepare the mind. The mind is also controlled by one more thing called habits. Habits will force us to come back to the same old way of thinking, speaking, and doing. Once our old habits conflict with the changes, the mind is brought to bear pressure from both sides of it. Number 4, live with the present moment. A lot of uncertainties will lead to issues, challenges, and difficulties we need to handle. Each of those also leads to questions and expectations about the outcome, either positive or negative. Having a lot of questions and expectations in the mind will leave little space to feel happiness and contentment. If we live with the present moment, these questions and expectations will disappear. We will have more space in the mind to feel more comfortable and slowly solve all issues, challenges, and difficulties. The fruits of constructive and positive karmas will always become positive as well. Number 5, meditate to feel a certainty from within. When everything in the world is uncertain, the only sureness is that we can feel the positive energy from inside through the practice of meditation. It might not be easy to meditate during a difficult time, but when the mind can advance through all meditative obstacles such as worrying thoughts, it will surely come to a state where all anxiety disappears. That's when we can appreciate the certainty of inner peace by ourselves. What if we keep meditating every day? Bringing this certainty to our daily life will surely help us deal with uncertainty at this difficult moment. Have you seen some hope already? I wish you good health, longevity, and peacefulness during this difficult time. By changing our minds, we can overcome this together. Let's wish for this difficult moment to end soon.
Thank you very much, Venerable John. And for more amazing videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe Mind Stories YouTube channel. Let us end at Brain Insight with the Lord Buddha's Dharma quote. Like a beautiful flower full of color but without fragrance, even so, fruitless are the fair words of one who does not practice them. Like a beautiful flower full of color and also fragrant, even so, fruitful are the fair words of one who practices them. It's time for us to say goodbye. Make sure to check out all episodes of our news program on our website, gbnus.com. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful week. สวัสดีค่ะ